I finally got the arrest reports from the Groton Police Department, and trust me, you're going to want to hear what these officers had to say. Hey, what's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Thank you all for joining me for this live stream. Please take a moment and hit the like button and share this video anywhere you can, and drop a comment down below. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. I have all of the police reports. It's a little bit weird in Connecticut, just more evidence of the state of Connecticut being so corrupt that my attorney cannot physically hand me over the arrest reports. Any of the discovery, really. It's according to the Connecticut practice book. He can't. So what I did is I made a summary of the reports. I don't have the actual reports, but this is what the summary of the report says. This is exactly what the arresting officers, the sergeants, and we're going to go through each one together, and it exposes the Connecticut State Police's lies, and then it shows that these charges, the felony voyeurism, the criminal trespassing, and the breach of the peace, all are completely and utterly baseless. And then at the end of this is going to be a pretty long live stream. It's a lot to go through. So if you don't have time, watch it another day. But I appreciate all of you who stick with me to the very end. At the end, I'm going to put it all into artificial intelligence, and we'll see exactly what they have to say about it. I think you'll be surprised. So the first one here is from Sergeant, Town of Groton Police Department arrest reports. It's from Sergeant Tyler D'Angelo. And for those of you who do not remember who Sergeant D'Angelo is, I'm going to show you exactly who he is. So this right here is Sergeant D'Angelo, the quote-unquote the good cop, right? He was the guy that was being very nice and cordial. Hey, my name is Tyler. Nice to meet you. So let's go right into his report right here. Let me take this down and pull this up here really quickly. All right. Sergeant Tyler D'Angelo, summary report of July 11th. At 16:52 hours, he, Officer Romansky, and Officer Breon, Officer Hempel, Sergeant Bedard, a lot of officers from Man with the Camera, responded to report of a disturbance. Let me see here. Connecticut State Trooper and a First Amendment auditor. Trooper, later identified as Sergeant Brian Fahey, advised police he had a firearm, and the First Amendment auditor was trespassing on his property. Also, the male threatened to kill him. Never did that. He has never met Fahey, but knows about patrol checks at Fahey's house due to prior interactions between the auditor and Fahey. He suspected the same auditor was involved. Upon arrival, he sees Officer Romansky and Breon talking to Reyes and Glover. Each had a cell phone and handheld pole filming. Also, a black and white box truck streaming video of prior interactions between Reyes and Fahey. Registration was checked, ownership traced to Long Island Audit Inc. He approached Reyes and observed Reyes to be excited. Was I excited? I think I was upset. I think the better term to use would be upset. I just got spat in the face. Former Sergeant Brian Fahey spat in my face and threatened me with a firearm. I think I was upset, not excited. Speaking in a loud voice about the altercation, Reyes said he and Glover were journalists at Fahey's residence to ask him about an overtime scandal and, quote, cooking the books. Reyes stated he was met by Fahey exiting his residence holding a firearm, but no indication that Fahey threatened to use or pointed a firearm at him or Glover. Reyes tells him that Fahey walked him off the property in a, quote, chest-to-chest manner, during which Fahey spit in his face. Reyes pointed to his right cheek. Officer didn't observe any signs of this, only sweat. Reyes had video, was asked if he was comfortable enough to stop filming to show the evidence, and Reyes showed the video. It was forwarded to the point where Fahey exited the house, approaches Reyes and Glover, yelling at them to get off the property while holding a pistol at his side. Chest-to-chest interaction was observed. Words are exchanged while Reyes is backing down the driveway. This continues down the driveway, during which time Fahey observed and heard spitting at Reyes from video being taken from behind Reyes by Glover. Officer officer to see exactly where the spit landed on the video. Reyes stopped the video and later he received a link to upload to Sergeant Bedford. No other video was shown by Reyes, just where he fast forwarded to show the point where Fahey allegedly spit in Reyes' face. Officer told Reyes that he should have known that his actions, that his quote, should have known that his actions, his constitutionally protected actions during this incident would have likely solicited a negative response. He states Reyes did not disagree, but claimed that he was victim blaming, cops splaining, all of the above, and using cop talk. I said cop splaining, and Reyes was trying to engage him in a verbal altercation. No, I wasn't. Trying to educate. Officers indicates that Reyes claimed Fahey spit in his mouth and was concerned about disease, so Reyes was asked if he wanted medical attention and responded yes, but he ultimately declined. When ambulance responded saying he would seek his own medical treatment, Reyes stayed with Romansky and Berlin while he examined the scene, noting at least two signs stating private road, dead end, no turnaround. Also, officer observed a private property no trespassing sign on the left side of the driveway, lying face up at the edge of the driveway. He was told by Bedard that it was located face up in the weeds under a tree location was photographed. So basically, they're saying that there were no trespassing signs, but they were face up out of my camera's view, not clearly posted. The state police, on the other hand, the Connecticut State Police, if you recall in their internal affairs report, stated that the no trespassing signs, private property, no trespassing signs, were edited out of my video because I wanted to deceive the public. But according to the Groton Police Department, the actual officers who were on the scene, there was allegedly a private property no trespassing sign, but it was in the brush, lying face up, not properly posted. Again, contradiction. Fahey said he and his family have received threats over the last approximate year and a half because of the prior interactions with Reyes, and there is currently a lawsuit pending between them. Officer notes that Fahey's wife and daughter were there during the altercation. Fahey notified me that he and his family have received numerous threats from unknown individuals over the last approximate year and a half as a result of prior interaction between him and Reyes, and that he is involved in a lawsuit with Reyes. It should be noted that Fahey's wife and daughter were also at the residence during the altercation. How many times do they have to say that? I mean, I was no threat to Fahey's wife or Fahey's daughter at all. Probable cause was developed to arrest Reyes and Glover, so they were taken and transported to the Groton Town Police Department for processing. The charges, as well as the criminal history of Reyes and Glover, were reviewed for bond purposes. He contacted relevant chain of command. Remember, I told you while I was sitting in the cell, they said, well, we've been receiving calls from people high up on the food chain. This is what they're referring to, because originally my bond was supposed to be set at $10,000, and my cameramans were supposed to be set at a promise to appear, no bond whatsoever. Relevant chain of command, people to notify because a police officer was involved, which is standard operating procedure. See, law enforcement officers get special treatment. Chief of police notified state's attorney. I assume that's Paul Narducci, who grew up with former Sergeant Brian Fahey. Allegedly, they played baseball together. And the state police Eastern District, because the off-duty trooper was involved. So they contacted the state's police. The chief of police contacted the state's attorney, Paul Narducci of New London Judicial District, as well as the state police, because an off-duty trooper was involved. Would they do that for you or I? Don't think so. State's attorney indicated that criminal trespass in the first degree was an applicable charge in this case, given the additional charge, and that the two were out-of-state residents. The bonds were increased by the chief after consulting with the state's attorney. So at least we know who raised the bond from $10,000 to $75,000. That would be Chief Louis Fusaro, the 22-year veteran of the Connecticut State Police Department, who had a lawsuit filed against him. He just settled the lawsuit a few years ago for excessive force. So I don't think he is has the moral character of a good officer. I believe he is just like former Sergeant Brian Fahey, a tyrant, and his actions have proven that. This officer was also notified the Connecticut State Police Sergeant Lenati of the Troop E Barracks and called bail commissioner to notify of the arrest. Later, Reyes and Glover posted bond prior to bail commissioner contacting him back. While in the cell block, both men were afforded numerous phone calls. Officer states that his report was written from, quote, memory based on his perception of the incident. The officer states that his report was written from, quote, memory based on his perception of the incident without the aid of watching the footage captured on his department issued body camera. Why would that be? And that's the end of the sergeant's report. Why would that be? Why wouldn't you review your body camera footage when writing the report? I mean, based on his perception. Right. All right, let's see here. This one is from Sergeant Devin Berdard. This is the sergeant that told me that spitting in a law enforcement officer's face is a felony, yet spitting in a citizen's face is no crime at all. This is the one that actually said, turn around and put your hands behind your back. Response of First Amendment auditor, an off-duty trooper, arguing en route. He could hear yelling in the background of the call, stating that they had a firearm. Incident was about an auditor trespassing on the trooper's property. Bedard states that Berlin, Romansky, and McKinney already on the scene when he arrived. He was advised that the trooper involved was Fahey, who later tells him he has been dealing with auditors from the YouTube channel Long Island Audit for over a year. He also observes the truck bearing New York registration XXXXX with television display showing YouTube video clips from past incidents with Fahey. The videos called for Fahey to be fired. That is true. Parked at the end of the address lane with LED television display surrounding the exterior of the truck, showing YouTube video clips from Long Island Audit of their past incidents involving Fahey on a loop. The videos on the truck were called for Fahey to be fired. He observed Reyes and Glover with recording equipment near the driver's front door of the truck, speaking with Berlin and Romansky. Another male with only socks. Another male with only socks also there. I mean, that's quite the detail. I guess Fahey was only wearing socks. Later determined, why would they say that? I don't know. Whatever. I mean, the other male carrying a gun, the other male irate, the other bald male. I mean, they could have described him any way, an unhinged savage, but they said that he only had socks on. Anyway, later determined to be Fahey, he asked Fahey to move away from Reyes and return to his residence. On the way up to the driveway, he notices two posted yellow signs stating private road, dead end, no turnaround. Does that sound like a no trespassing sign to any of you out there watching? Or does it sound like a vehicular sign, like somebody who doesn't want people going down their driveway in a car and not knowing that there is no outlet, right? It's kind of like a no outlet sign, right? He observed a third black and white sign that appeared to have he observed a third black and white sign that appeared to have, quote, have fallen from the tree where it was affixed, end quote. Not clearly posted, quote, not clearly posted. Again, for all the bootlicking sheep who love to lick the boots of authority and say that I edited out the no trespassing sign, your savior here, your heroes said it's not clearly posted. Right here. Not clearly posted. That stated no trespassing. It was about 1 to 2 feet in the overgrown bush. The driveway is about 200 to 300 yards and splits about halfway down. Visitors would need to step on Fahey's porch to knock on the door. Fahey told him, I'm pretty sure that's the case in anyone's house. Fahey told him that he was sitting down in his living room with his wife and daughter, heard her knock at the door, recognized Reyes as the owner of Long Island Audit. Also, he and Reyes have an ongoing civil matter, which he has provided to the state's attorneys. He has provided the state's attorney information about. Fahey says he was retiring in 2 weeks and believed his home was safe away from work. I mean, according to his overtime, he's always at work. But on 3 o'clock on a Friday, he was home. I don't get it. Also, he has received death threats from Reyes. Not true. That is a lie. I have never issued any death threats towards anyone, ever, let alone this unhinged savage. Never. That is a lie. And he has no proof. And they provide no proof in these documents, as you'll see. And other Long Island Audit followers, he states that he told Reyes and Glover to get off the property and leave, but they did not immediately remaining on the grass lawn in the vicinity of his front porch. Well, we all know that that's not true. Further, we have the video evidence. Further, he was not in fear for his life, but for the safety of his family who were home at the time. So he retrieved his firearm while he and his wife were on 911. Fahey admitted that he had spit at Reyes while yelling at him. Fahey confirmed he already turned over his firearm to Billion. Fahey stated he wanted to press charges against Reyes and Glover. Officer McKinney took Fahey's statement while he spoke with Reyes and Glover. Reyes stated that he was at Fahey's home to question him about an overtime scandal and cooking the books. Reyes only expecting to answer the door and slam it in their faces, which appeared to indicate he was expecting a negative outcome. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything. But what I can tell you is I was not expecting this unhinged savage to pull out a gun and spit in my face and mouth. I mean, slamming the door in my face. I mean, I would do that to somebody trying to sell me solar panels, right? I would do that to somebody, trying to solicit something from me at my front door. I would close the door and say, no, thank you. Please get off of my property. I don't think that's a negative outcome, maybe for somebody trying to sell you something, but I definitely did not expect him to spit in my face and mouth and pull a gun on me. He was upset with Fahey spit in his face, stating that the spit went into his mouth. Like a previous report, medical was requested but ultimately refused. Reyes stated he wanted to press charges against Fahey. Reyes showed Sergeant D'Angelo his video, but this officer states he only observed the very end of the video from over D'Angelo's shoulder. D'Angelo later told him that Reyes and Glover did not immediately leave the property after being told to do so numerous times by Fahey. That's not true. Again, these people just lie. It's a crime to lie in a police report. Gets you put on the Brady list. You should be fired, should be prosecuted, but apparently that doesn't happen. He also told him that Fahey was on the video with his firearm in his right hand and the cell phone in his left hand. Also that Fahey approached Reyes and spit on him while they were walking back to the road chest to chest. This officer did not observe any spit on Reyes' face or clothing. He states Reyes did not believe Fahey overreacted, but the spin went too far. I don't remember saying that. Digital photos. I remember saying that it's okay for him to be upset, but he cannot break the law. That's what I said. Digital photos of the scene and Reyes' face were taken along with Fahey's firearm. Also, Romansky confirmed that he already removed the black and white no trespassing sign from the overgrown bush and placed it in the grass next to where it was located. He pointed the exact place where he pulled it from the bush to document in photos. Very convenient. So they don't have any photos of it in the bush of the woods, right? Lying face up. It was already on the grass where he tossed it and then took a picture. Report confirms the firearm was not Fahey's duty weapon. It was registered to him personally. The photos were uploaded to AxonVideoEvidence.com. A link was given to Reyes for him to upload the raw footage of the file he showed D'Angelo. Fahey was given a link by McKinney for his Ring doorbell footage, believed to have captured the interaction. Oh, I can't wait to see the Ring doorbell footage. He confirmed and the body camera footage. They still haven't given my attorney any of it. None of it. No discovery other than what you're seeing right now. He confirms the truck in the cul-de-sac adjoining Fahey's driveway, stating that the display appears to intended to incite alarm or provoke. It's intended to spread awareness of an unhinged lunatic sergeant, former sergeant, who has never been held accountable for his multiple constitutional violations and assaults. It was meant to spread awareness to the entire neighborhood and the town of Groton, Connecticut. That's the intended purpose. Peacefully exercising my First Amendment right to protest this injustice, the injustices that happened prior to July 11th. If it was meant to provoke him, I mean, Fahey couldn't even see it from his from his home. So I don't get how doesn't make sense. Let's see, stating it appears to incite provoke, especially since it does not appear to be related to Reyes' stated intention. You can have two intentions, officer. One, to spread awareness on an unhinged tyrant who gets away with assaulting and violating people's constitutional rights and peacefully exercise your First Amendment right to protest and to ask questions. Another First Amendment right. They all fall under the same category, First Amendment, which was to question Fahey about his overtime earnings. Again, you can do two things at once. It was determined there was probable cause to arrest Reyes and Glover. They were processed without incident, charged with criminal trespass, voyeurism with malice, felony voyeurism with malice, and breach of the peace in the second. The two were held only for a short time and released after posting bonds. They were given special conditions of release, not to commit federal, state, or local crimes, and to stay away from the home of the victim. Can you imagine what bizarre alternate reality we are living in, where former Sergeant Brian Fahey is the victim of anything? and do not contact the victim in any manner, including written, electronic, or telephone contact, and do not contact the victim's home, workplace, or others whom the contact would likely cause annoyance or alarm to the protected person. Inspector from the New London State's Attorney's Office advised of Fahey's involvement. Fahey's firearm was returned to him, and Fahey requested Reyes and Glover, Long Island Audit, formally trespass from his property going forward. Accordingly, Glover and Reyes were verbally notified and warned if they returned, they would be arrested. The two stated they understood. End of report. Let's see here. This one was supplemental from the video from Fahey. So apparently, former Sergeant Brian Fahey uploaded his Ring doorbell camera. And this is the report from the supplemental report from his Ring doorbell camera. He observed timestamp 4:51:34. Fahey answers the door and immediately tells Reyes and Glover to the effect, "You need to get off my property. It's posted no trespassing. You need to leave right now." Reyes says there are no posted signs, and Fahey says there are posted signs right at the end, pointing towards the end of his driveway. The two, Reyes and Glover, me and my cameraman, the two slowly take small steps backpedaling via the grass, but continue to record and ask questions. So as I'm reading this report and these supplemental reports, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to just critically think: is this how a police report is written without bias? I mean, it seems like a lot of added fluff in here. You need to leave now. Backpedaling via the grass, but continue to record and ask questions. Whereupon Fahey states again, "Get off my property." Recording continues during the slow walk off the property. I thought I was walking at a normal pace. I mean, what was I supposed to do? Usain Bolt out of there? I was supposed to dematerialize like a Marvel movie and just teleport like Nightcrawler or something? Like, I don't get it. Like, I walked. Well, I think it would have been more suspicious for me to just like turn and run away, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. The two slowly took small steps back, get off my property, slow walk off the property. Check this out. Recording continues during the slow walk off the property, despite Fahey's instruction to leave immediately. Quote, immediately. Check this out. This is gold right here. This is it right here. Recording continues during the slow walk off the property, despite Fahey's instruction to leave, quote, immediately. The two did not take immediate action to vacate and intentionally walked at a slow pace into the street. The two did not take immediate action to vacate. Again, what did they want me to do? Teleport? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I did take immediate action to leave. I just don't understand. I intentionally walked at a slow pace to the street. Fahey returns inside from his residence, and Reyes continues his commentary at timestamp 16:52:17. Fahey returns with his firearm in his right hand, cell phone in his left, appearing to be on a call. Again, he yells to Reyes and Glover, "Get off my property right now." Reyes and Glover are still in the grass area in the front lawn, approximately 15 yards from the front porch, 43 seconds after initially being told to leave. Fahey approaches Reyes and Glover, but their position unknown because the porch pillar was blocking the area of the camera. After watching the video, Fahey clearly stated he wanted Reyes and Glover off of his property, but they continued to record, comment, and ask questions as they were leaving. That's what they should say. As they were leaving. After watching the video, Fahey clearly stated he wanted Reyes and Glover to get off of his property, but they continued to record, comment, and ask questions as they were leaving. Officer, let me help you out. The location, even if you say it's too slowly, oh man, the location is private property, not in plain view from a public space where Fahey would have a reasonable expectation of privacy. So you have a reasonable expectation of privacy now at your front door, ladies and gentlemen. Really. A reasonable expectation of privacy. Anyway, so this one, Town of Groton Police Department arrest reports. This is from Officer McKinney. She responds, 4:53, active disturbance, First Amendment auditor. We're arguing because the auditor trespassed on caller's property. Address was recognized because she has previously been directed to patrol due to trooper received threats. So they have been patrolling his address apparently because he's been receiving threats. I would love to see the call, the logs for that. There's so much that needs to be done and checked out by that. They were standing next to a large billboard truck with screens streaming video footage. He approached Fahey, who started to explain the incident to Bedard. He said Reyes was suing him and he came to headquarters but never his house. He said that there were hundreds of threats online to kill him and that the state's attorney had all of them. He said Reyes knocked on his door and started filming him. And let's just be clear here. I wasn't filming. As I walked up to former Sergeant Brian Fahey's door, this is just a blatant lie. I wasn't filming. That's why I had a cameraman. I had my camera in my hand, right? It was face down. I'll show the video after, but it was face down. It wasn't recording. There is no footage of it. I was not recording. I was going to, but I figured I have the cameraman for that. I'm here to ask the questions. That was before I bought my fancy mic and my press pass and everything else. But I was looking to ask questions. I wasn't recording, so that's a lie. And started filming him. Fahey's wife came to the driveway a short time later. Fahey was saying, "Not here, not in front of her," pointing at wife, stating also, "Not in front of my goddamn kids." She goes up the driveway to the residence with Bedard and Fahey. The driveway splits at the right side and that leads to private road sign. No turnaround. Fahey stated to her that he had a no trespassing sign at the end of the driveway, but of course it fell. But it was posted. That's Fahey's words. But, quote, "of course it fell," but, quote, "it was posted." He didn't know the sign was removed or for how long. It was later located by Romansky below a tree on the left side of the Fahey driveway. Wife appeared, quote, anxious and was picking her nails and biting on the drawstrings to her sweatshirt. She wanted to know, look at all this editorializing. She wanted to know what would have been done to remove Reyes, and she was informed that he may be formally trespassed. The wife informed her that it had been 2 years. It's bad. She stated that Reyes was relentless. I am relentless when it comes to accountability and transparency. I agree, Kimberly Fahey. I agree, Mrs. Fahey. I am relentless when it comes to accountability and transparency. Your husband is a complete and utter tyrant. That's for sure. I agree with her. And he would not leave him alone, referring to her husband. Also, she said Reyes had been harassing her for years. I didn't even know who she was before this happened. I guessed that he wasn't married. That would have been my original guess, that this weirdo wasn't married. I've been harassing her for years. These Faheys, man, they're just a bunch of liars. There's a comment that Reyes would upload as quick as he could, that he had already posted a video about Fahey that morning. I didn't post a video about Fahey in the morning. What? At least not that I remember. I don't remember doing that. They're such liars, man. There were comment that Reyes would upload. She also asked that what could be done about Reyes' vehicle at the end of the driveway, if they had to leave or check the mail. She was advised that Fahey's Ring doorbell camera captured some of the incidents, so she gave Fahey a link to upload the footage. She needed to upload a code from her account, so she stopped her own body-worn camera to do this. Interesting. She stopped the body camera, ladies and gentlemen. Of course she did. Once done, it was restarted, and Fahey was sent the link stating that he would send it to her later that evening. He uploaded 6 videos. 2 were identical, and the others were all different. Upon briefly reviewing one of the videos while on scene, Fahey exits the residence with a firearm in his right hand. Brian Fahey, there have been enduring a legal battle with Jean-Paul Reyes for about 2.5 years, all by your own doing, all by his own doing, by him violating my constitutional rights and assaulting me on 2 different occasions. Fahey was in his living room, also home with his wife and daughter, standing on his lawn near the front porch. Reyes was accompanied by a thin, shorter male, later identified as Mr. Glover. Notice everyone that they do not describe him as having a ski mask on and a hood, right? They don't describe him as wearing a mask and a hood like the Connecticut State Police officers do they? Bunch of liars, man. And I'm the bad guy. Fahey opened the front door and told Reyes to leave his property. Fahey was unsure if he said, "Get the fuck off my property," and stated that he may have repeated the command. Reyes responded with something and backed up onto the lawn, staying in that spot. Fahey, again, they're so disingenuous. Backed off the lawn. The lawn is huge. This guy has a huge lawn. It took me some time to get to the end. Fahey went back inside, shut the door. That should have been the end of it. Fahey went back inside, shut the door, went upstairs, retrieved a firearm from his safe, and returned outside. That was the mistake he made. That was the crime. During this time, Fahey called 911 and informed Groton Emergency Communications about the situation. Fahey came. I don't have the 911 communications either, ladies and gentlemen. Fahey came outside, kept his firearm in his right hand, ultimately holding it behind his right leg. At this point, Reyes and the other male had backed up to the lawn, closer to the driveway. Fahey walked toward them, screaming at them to get off his property. Reyes and the other man filmed Fahey the entire time. Fahey approached. They started backing up, stopping the middle of his Y-shaped driveway, claiming they were not on his property. I never stopped. Never. Again, just lies. It's all on video. Driveway, claiming they were not on his property. Fahey yelled at them again, "Get the fuck off my property." And that he was yelling. He spits towards Reyes because he was foaming at the mouth. He did not, like an animal, like a rabid animal, foaming at the mouth. He did not believe that he spit in Reyes' face intentionally. Reyes and the other male continued to back up, and Reyes, he later changed that story. He admits that he spit in my face intentionally. In the IA report, Reyes repeatedly stated that they were leaving. I did. What do you think I'm doing, you psycho? I believe was the exact verbiage I used. He followed them to the end of his property where the driveway meets the sidewalk, but did not recall what he was yelling as he was still on the phone with 911. Police arrived. Oh, I can recall. I can recall what he was yelling. He told me, "This is the biggest mistake you ever made." Police arrived. Oh, you know why? Because his buddy, Police Chief Louis Fusaro of the Groton Police Department, 22 years in the Connecticut State Police, is going to charge me with a felony and 2 misdemeanors. Baseless. Police arrived shortly after Fahey requested that Reyes, the other male, and anyone associated with Long Island Audit be formally trespassed from his residence. Groton Police, Connecticut, expressed desire to press formal charges against them. End of statement. Officer states that after giving the statement, Fahey further stated, "I got a firearm because I've gotten hundreds and hundreds of threats to kill me and kill my kids, to kill my parents." Also, that he had 900 emails saved to his work email. Ooh, that's a lot. The majority of those are threats. She asked if Fahey's address had been leaked before, and she said yes. Lastly, he had grabbed the firearm to protect his family. End of report. All right, we're almost done, guys. We have Town of Groton Police Department arrest report, summary of the report. Officer Romansky, dispatch active disturbance call. Upon arrival, he made contact with Sean Paul Reyes and Tahim Glover. Altercation where trooper later identified as Fahey that a firearm was possibly displayed. They refused initially to identify themselves, but eventually gave officers with their names and dates of birth. He was unaware of the details of the incident, but Reyes immediately approached him, appearing animated and loud, telling him that Fahey had spit in his face. Reyes was instructed to step back and stand near the box truck, which was later determined to be his vehicle. Reyes confirmed that he had no weapons, but continued to speak loudly, interrupting the officer. Oh, how dare I? Reyes advised that the officer had reasonable suspicion that a crime had been committed, that he did not have reasonable suspicion a crime had been committed, which Reyes responded the officer needed to learn the law. Reyes reiterated that he had no weapons, and Glover also stated he had no weapons. Officer states that he was eventually able to de-escalate. This is the guy that said he de-escalated. We'll show him in a minute. Romansky. He was able to de-escalate, and Reyes and asked Reyes to tell him the situation. Reyes explained Fahey had spit in his face and mouth and wanted to him arrested. He had gone to Fahey's house intending to ask questions regarding an incident involving Fahey in his workplace. Reyes confirmed that he was asked to leave, so he did so by backing up slowly. Again, how many times are they going to use the word slowly? Reyes stated he saw no trespassing signs and was concerned to emphasize Fahey spit in his face. Reyes refused to provide ID, stating the incident was all recorded. He said he asked Fahey what happened and he would show his video afterwards. He was advised to speak with Sergeant D'Angelo. Refers to McKinney's report for interaction with Fahey. Report states that the metal sign about 10 feet off the edge of the driveway was observed, a little larger than a sheet of paper. It stated private property. Whoa. So earlier, one of the officers or the sergeants said that it was 1 to 2 feet off the driveway. This is why I love doing live streams. We can do this live together. Earlier in the report, if you can recall, one of the officers said 1 to 2 feet off the driveway. Now, the report states that the metal sign was about 10 feet off the edge of the driveway, was observed a little larger than a sheet of paper. It stated private property, no trespassing. It looked like it was originally attached to a tree, but had fallen off. How would you even know that? And is it 10 feet or 1 to 2 feet? Again, when you lie, When you're making up these and fabricating stories, you got to make sure you get them all correct, Groton Police Department, because this is going to come back to bite you in a legal way. The sign caught the eye of Romansky and was clearly visible on closer inspection. It was not covered with leaves or grass. It appeared to have fallen recently. It was removed and placed in the grass along the driveway. D'Angelo and Bedard spoke. I don't believe any of these people. D'Angelo and Bedard spoke with both parties, and it was determined that Reyes and Glover would be placed into custody. Reyes was placed in an under arrest, handcuffed, whereafter he claims the cuffs were too tight, so the cuffs were loosened and double locked again. Reyes booked and processed without incident. Referred to Bedard's report, body camera uploaded, end of report. So that's the end of all of the police reports. A lot of creative writing there, huh? A lot of creative writing. So I'm going to get in the chat in a minute. I want to see what you guys are saying here. I just wanted to get through that as quick as possible. I know it was pretty long. So I wanted to try this. This is ChatGPT 5. This is the Groton arrest reports that we just read. And this is the prompt. You're an expert criminal, Connecticut criminal defense attorney, using only attached police reports and charging documents, no outside facts. Perform an objective probable cause review for Mr. Reyes and Glover. Deliverables, executive summary, less than 200 words. Neutral timeline of events. Identify charges, who alleges what. Sufficiency decision per charge. Sufficient PC or baseless, insufficient PC for each charge. And explain briefly why. Applying Connecticut's probable cause standards, facts that would lead to a reasonable person to believe a crime was committed by the accused. Again, this is not legal advice this is just an AI. Again, I haven't even hit the process button yet. I have no idea what it's going to say. I just wanted to let you know what the prompt is before I do it. Who knows? AI might be in on it with the police. Element by element matrix for statutes cited, quotes, and then it gives all the statutes. Mark any unsupported element or contradicted element in bold. If an element relies on a conclusion rather than fact, label conclusory. Evidence and credibility checks, noted internal inconsistencies, hearsay, reliance, missing time / place specifics, contradictions between officers / witnesses, omissions of exculpatory facts, and any First Amendment public space considerations explicitly grounded in the reports. Alternative innocent explanations, brief bullets tied to report citations, lawful presence, lack of notice, non-threatening conduct. If charges are baseless, explain the most plausible cause, grounded in text, why the charges may have been brought anyway, misreading the statute, retaliation for recording, tie each rationale to a specific passage, follow-ups, listed focused discovery requests and cross-examination questions that arise from identified gaps, output format, use clear headings, tone and scope, strictly neutral, Connecticut law grounded, reports only, concise justifications tied to citations. Let's see. Let's look at it together. Let's do it. All right. There's the executive summary. Went to both men were charged with criminal trespass on the first degree, breach of the peace in the second degree, voyeurism with malice, a felony. All right. Sufficiency decision per charge. Let's see. You just saw it. Did it with me, right? Criminal trespass in the first degree, baseless. Insufficient probable cause. Reports show no clearly posted sign at entry. Officers found a fallen sign obscured in the brush. Reyes and Glover left while filming. Fahey admits they were backing out. Notice element unsupported. Breach of the peace. So right there, baseless, insufficient probable cause. I mean, it doesn't take an artificial intelligence or even an attorney to figure that out. Let's see here. Breach of the peace in the second. Baseless, insufficient probable cause. No threats, fighting, or violent conduct by Reyes and Glover documented. Reports show Reyes animated and loud, but no disorder with intent to cause inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm beyond protected speech. Unsupported element. Voyeurism with malice. Baseless, insufficient probable cause. Requires surreptitious recording of another in the circumstances where privacy is expected, nudity / sexual activity. Reports describe open filming with cell phones, poles, and driveway, directed at a public official, completely unsupported. And then it has the statutes and elements. Fahey told them to leave. They retreated slowly. A breach of the peace in the second. Reyes animated loud, no threats. Fahey admits he was backing away. Voyeurism, openly recorded. Fahey visible not in a private driveway, not in a private setting. Uh, Evidence and credibility checks. Let's check this out. Evidence and credibility checks. Signage conflict. Officers observed no trespassing sign fallen in bush, but not visible. Reyes' statement of no posted sign supported. Officer admission. D'Angelo wrote report from memory without reviewing body camera. Spitting incident. Fahey admits spitting. Officers did not see residue. Contradiction between Fahey's intent, foaming, versus Reyes' claim of spit in the mouth. Video evidence referenced, but not in record. Reyes' clip. Fahey's ring camera. Hearsay reliance. Officers cite Fahey's claims of, quote, death threats and harassment, but none tied factually to July 11th. Public/First Amendment context. Conduct consisted of filming, asking questions on matters of public concern. Police overtime. Innocent explanations. Let's see here. Lawful presence. Reyes knocked on the door. Customary license to approach. Lack of notice. No visible trespassing signage. Retreat in progress. Reports confirm slowly backing down the driveway. Protected activity. Filming, asking questions is speech, press activity, not voyeurism. Volume explained. Reyes was loud. Voice linked to animated speech, but not threats. Why charges may have been brought anyway. Let's see what ChatGPT has. Mistake of law. Officers, state's attorney may have misread. Oh, they're giving them too much credit. Officers and state's attorney might have misread 53A 107, equating verbal order to leave plus slow compliance with trespass after notice. Slow compliance. They mistake the law. Retaliation/cover charge. Reports show tension, with officers telling Reyes his actions would this is interesting. Retaliation/cover charge. Reports show tension, with officers telling Reyes his actions would solicit a negative response, end quote, suggesting frustration at protected conduct. You think? Overcharging. Voyeurism with malice bears no relation to the facts. Voyeurism with malice bears no relation to the facts, possibly added to escalate bond or as leverage. Pressure from involved officer. Fahey, as a trooper, pressed charges. Chain of command and state's attorney notified immediately. Targeted follow-ups. This is just about discovery requests, which I haven't received any of these. The 911 calls, photographs of the sign, Ring doorbell camera, body-worn camera footage. I don't have any of that. Cross-examination questions. To Fahey, you admit you spit at Reyes, correct? Two officers. Where exactly was the no trespassing sign located at arrival? Undermine notice. Why did you write the report from memory without reviewing your body camera? Oh. Did Fahey admit Reyes and Glover were backing away while filming? To Bedard. On what factual basis did you charge for it? Voyeurism with malice? What's the most probable reason Reyes and Glover were charged? Let's see. Let's see. What's the most probable reason? Number one, Fahey's status as a trooper and complainant pressure. The reports show Fahey insisted on pressing charges, and immediately I also insisted. They didn't give a damn about me, and immediately requested Reyes and Glover be formally trespassed from his property. Officers and the chief of police escalated the case straight to the state's attorney because an officer was involved. The speed of the chain of command notifications suggests a protective institutional response. Ooh, I like that. The speed and chain of command notifications suggests a protective institutional response rather than a neutral probable cause review. Officers appear to have equated Fahey's verbal order to leave plus slow retreat with remaining unlawfully after notice, but the reports themselves admit no trespassing signs were on the ground, that the no trespassing signs were on the ground in the brush. This looks like legal misreading, confusing delay with criminal intent, overcharging as leverage. Voyeurism with malice has no factual support in any report, but it was still added. Most likely explanation. It was used to inflate the bond, increase leverage, and deter Reyes and Glover's conduct. First Amendment chilling effect, especially given the LED truck display targeting Fahey. Retaliation. Officers told Reyes he should have known his actions would have solicited a negative response. That is, they implicitly blame Reyes for provoking Fahey. Charging Reyes and Glover appears to have been means of neutralizing their complaint against Fahey, spitting plus firearm, by creating cross arrests. This balances the optics. Fahey, not the only one accused of misconduct, Reyes and Glover branded as aggressors too. Most probable reason in play terms. Reyes and Glover were charged as a protective measure for former Sergeant Brian Fahey, combining a misapplication of trespass law with a retaliatory overcharging so that Fahey's admitted misconduct, brandishing a firearm and spitting, would be counterbalanced by criminal charges against Reyes and Glover. How could this happen in the USA? Here's why something like this could happen in the United States. Even though we pride ourselves on our constitutional rights and rule of law, police discretion on charging decisions. Police officers on the scene make initial probable cause calls, and the prosecutors often defer to officers' narrative in the heat of the moment. If an officer is the victim, as here with Sergeant Fahey, colleagues may err on the side of supporting their fellow officer rather than scrutinizing his conduct. That discretion means charges can be filed even when the evidence is weak, leaving it to the courts to sort it out later. Institutional protection of law enforcement. Number 2, reports show supervisors immediately notified and the chief state's attorney because Fahey was involved. That fast escalation signals to institutional self-protection when one of their own is in conflict. The machinery leans towards protecting him. In practice, this often results in a cross-arrest situation, charging both sides so the officer doesn't stand alone accused. Overcharging as a tool. Adding charges like voyeurism with malice, completely unsupported, suggests overcharging, a tactic sometimes used to increase bond, justify arrest, or deter speech. Prosecutors may later drop the flimsy counts, but by then, the arrest, booking, and public stigma have already occurred. First Amendment tensions. Reyes and Glover were filming and criticizing a public official, conduct at the heart of the First Amendment. Yet, because of this speech was directed at law enforcement, it triggered hostility. Officers reframed the protected activity of filming and asking questions as provocative or soliciting a negative response, a speech to crime pipeline problem civil libertarians often warn about. Ooh. 5, checks come after, not before. In the U.S. system, arrest and charging happen quickly with relative low probable cause thresholds. The true check is later: motions to dismiss, suppression hearings, jury trials, civil rights lawsuits. That means individuals can be swept in the system unjustly, bearing the cost of stress and defense before vindication. In short, this happened because of institutional loyalty, broad police discretion, weak probable cause safeguards at the charging stage, and the hostility toward dissent/filming the police. The system assumes the courts will correct overreach later, but that later costs the accused time, money, and reputation. Very, very interesting. I thought, that was a live chat with AI. Let's see what we're seeing in the chat. How you guys doing tonight? Thank you, 4,500 of you being in here. Please hit that like button, and please hit the like button and share this live stream wherever you can. We are 48 minutes. What do you guys think about the artificial intelligence breakdown of what happened? If surviving serves right, was notified from the scene, crime before arrested, ever made it to jail. I love your piano show. Do you play? I was on my real piano. The problem with AI is, if I were to ask, the AI response would have been totally different. Try it at home. I will leave a Google link. As soon as I'm off this live, I will leave a Google Drive link to the arrest reports, and you could try it at home. Put it into any artificial intelligence you want. Oh yeah, let's see that. That's a good idea. I like that. Type in what charges Fahey should have gotten. Let's see. I like that. It's a good idea. We got a couple minutes. Why not? We're in this together, aren't we? Let's see here. Haven't changed anything. This is exactly what it was before. What charges should have been? What charges What are the charges Fahey should have been arrested for? Forgive my horrible spelling and typos. I'm trying to be quick. Good question. All right. It says here that he should have been charged with assault in the third degree, offensive physical contact. The statute covers physical injury or offensive physical contact. Fahey admitted spitting at Reyes. Reyes alleged spit entered his mouth. Courts have long held that spitting can constitute offensive physical contact. Strong probable cause. Remember, every one of my charges was insufficient probable cause, baseless. He could have been charged with breach of the peace in the second degree, engaging in violent, tumultuous, or threatening behavior in public, emerging from the house armed with a firearm, screaming profanities and spitting while advancing chest to chest. This could meet this element. Strong probable cause. Threatening in the second degree requires threatening to commit a crime of violence intended to terrorize. Reports show Fahey was yelling, armed, and told Reyes the Glover to leave while holding the gun. No direct quote of threat, "I'll shoot you," appears in the reports, but the armed advance plus spitting could be construed as an implied threat. Borderline probable cause depends on the interpretation of words. I mean, in the reports, they didn't say that this is the biggest mistake you ever made. So it's only taking it from. This is the crazy part about this, ladies and gentlemen. It is only, if you remember the beginning prompt, it is only taking from the police reports themselves, what these liars wrote. It's not even taking into account my side of the story, the actual video evidence. Let's take into account what these tyrants wrote. Reckless endangerment in the second degree. Conduct creating a risk of serious physical injury. Walking out of the house, firearm in hand, chest to chest with an unarmed citizen. Unreasonable risk of escalation. Moderate probable cause. Number 5, disorderly conduct. That's a lot of charges. Strong probable cause, fighting, spitting, plus advancing with a gun. Why these charges make sense. The reports show Fahey, not Reyes/Glover, introduced the firearm and spit. Multiple officers recorded Fahey's admission he spit, and all acknowledged he was yelling while armed. By contrast, Reyes and Glover were retreating and filming, conduct that does not fit the statutes they were charged under. If the law were applied neutrally, Fahey could have been arrested for assault in the third, breach of the peace, disorderly conduct, possibly threatening and or reckless endangerment. Let's see. I like that you guys told me to do that. Let's see. Any other ones we should ask? Sean, the charge due to take you out. What charges would ChatGPT charge Reyes and Glover? Let's see. What charges? Yeah, I already said I shouldn't be charged though. Faves left home. Damn, the chat's moving so quick. You need to request a spit mask be worn during Fahey depositions. Oh yeah, when I depose former Sergeant Brian Fahey, I'm definitely going to be wearing a spit mask. I'm going to be protecting myself, you know. I'm going in there with protection. Definitely. Let's see here. Any comment? How much money could he sue for? Do you want me to ask ChatGPT? Can I upload the video? Let's see here. Any comments on the truck? What truck driver? I don't know what you're talking about. Ask if you have a defamation case. What lawsuits, potential lawsuits? I don't want it to think potential lawsuits and claims can Reyes and Glover bring, and against who? Excellent. This gets to the heart of the matter. If the reports are accurate, Reyes and Glover were the ones wrongfully. If their own police reports, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. If the police reports are accurate, it's taking all the information from their own reports. If they're accurate, I mean, they're somewhat accurate. I think they're less accurate towards my side of things, but again, Reyes and Glover were the ones who were wrongfully charged while Fahey engaged in potentially unlawful conduct. One, against Sergeant Brian Fahey, individual capacity, 1983 civil rights claims, First Amendment retaliation, Fourth Amendment unlawful seizure, excessive force, state tort claims, assault and battery, intentional inflict of emotional distress, defamation against the town of Groton, 1983 civil rights claims, false arrest, First Amendment retaliation, Monell liability. If Reyes and Glover can show the decision was escalated to chain of command chief and state's attorney bonds increased, they can argue municipal policy and custom, protecting officers against critics, state tort claims, false arrest, false imprisonment, malicious prosecution against the state of police. Trickier because of sovereign immunity, but potential civil rights conspiracy under 1983, definitely a civil rights conspiracy. Possible state claims under the Connecticut Constitution, possible claims in combination, 1985. 3, civil conspiracy, abuse of process, state tort, damages Reyes could pursue, bail costs, legal fees, medical costs, testing after spit exposure, emotional distress, punitive against Fahey personally for spitting and brandishing a firearm, retaliation, declaratory injunction relief, court order affirming the right to film in public, oversight without retaliatory arrest, summary, Fahey personally, Groton officers, state police. Boom, 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 boom. All right, I'm back in the chat. Back in the chat. Oh, that's a good one. Do you think Fahey will be punished? Will be charged. Let's say that. Will be charged. Let's see here. Did Fahey? Thanks for the super chat. Oh, I got a bunch of super chats. Thank you guys. Teresa, Ethan, Brandon Ford, Michael. Thank you for being a member 14 months. No Way Jose. Thank you. Donald Rodriguez. Time. And thank you, Pepper Brooks, for gifting 5 Long Island Audit memberships. Let's see here. Did Fahey break police policy conduct unbecoming of an officer while spitting on you? Oh, he obviously did. He was found. Let's see here. I asked that question you guys want me to ask. Why Fahey probably won't be charged. Law enforcement status. He's a retiring state trooper with connections in the same agencies investigating. Reports show his chain of command and state's attorneys were notified immediately, a sign of institutional protection. Cross-arrest strategy. By charging Reyes and Glover, police created a narrative that this was a mutual conflict, not one-sided misconduct that shields Fahey. Prosecutorial discretion. Even if there is probable cause, it's up to the state's attorney whether to file charges. Given Fahey's standing, history with Reyes, and the optics of threats he claimed, prosecutors are unlikely to pursue him. Patterns in reports. Officers frame Reyes' conduct as provocative and as Fahey's defensive. That slant makes it less likely the case will be picked up against Fahey. Bottom line, if Reyes or Glover had spit or brandished a firearm, they'd be in jail. For Fahey, the odds of being charged are slim, not because the law doesn't support it, but because of institutional loyalty and prosecutorial discretion. Ooh-wee. Let's see here. Any comments on the? He did break institution the policies, aka corruption. All right, watch this. Now describe this situation against Reyes and Glover in one word only. Let's see if it does it. One word only. Retaliation. Another. One word only. Let's see. Retaliation. Baseless. Another. Abuse. Another. Retaliation. Baseless. Abuse. Injustice. That's the one I was looking for. Evil. That's another one. Yes, hold on, Michael, he did. I don't need to ask ChatGPT if he broke policy unbecoming of an officer by spitting on me. Of course he did. Even the Connecticut State Police said he did. Ask ChatGPT if it has any questions that would allow it to provide a stronger position. Is there a way I can copy this? I don't want to type all that. Keep going. What else? What else? What else? Hold on. Is PC a real analysis or just predicting words, not trying to discredit you and I love your work. It's not, I mean, I did it all live in front of you guys right here. Every single thing. It's not, I didn't, I mean, if it's biased, it's biased. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's biased to me. Want me to ask it if it's being biased? Are you being biased? Biased, or are you sticking to the facts? I'm sticking to the facts and the reports you provided and applying the statute neutrally. Here's why my one word leaned negative. Look, it's going to explain to you guys. The trespass charge requires notice. Signs, fencing, oral order, or refusal. Reports confirm no trespassing sign was found on the ground in brush. And Reyes and Glover were backing out while filming. That means the essential element is unsupported. The voyeurism charge requires secret recording of a person in a private/sexual context. Reports describe open filming of a public official in a driveway. No element met. The breach of the peace charge requires threats, fighting, or violent behavior. Reports describe Reyes being loud and animated, but no threats or violence. By statute, that means the charges lack probable cause. Calling them baseless, retaliation, or injustice flows directly from the mismatch between law and facts, not bias. It's such a clear case of corruption. It is. It really is. From my understanding, Fahey had his retirement date forged, allegedly. Interesting. Was this situation... These are questions that you guys are asking me to write. Based on the reports, here's what we can infer. Timing. Reports note that Sergeant Fahey said he was retiring in 2 weeks. That means his retirement decision was already made before the July 11th incident. Why this incident could be a catalyst. Even though he already planned to retire, this confrontation may have accelerated or reinforced his decision. Public spotlight. Reyes' LED truck was looping past confrontations with Fahey and calling for his firing. That kind of publicity is uncomfortable for any officer. Legal exposure. Fahey admitted spitting at Reyes and brandishing a firearm. Family impact. His wife and daughter were present. Agency optics. Bottom line, Fahey was already on the way out, but this incident likely became a catalyst in solidifying his retirement. Yeah, why was the cameraman charged? Let's see. Reports consistently describe Glover as holding a camera and filming. No officer claimed he threatened, spit, yelled, or refused orders. He did not own the LED truck. He registered to Long Island Audit Inc. His only conduct was filming and walking slowly down the driveway. Guilt by association with Reyes. Don't come filming with me, guys. Officers repeatedly refer to Reyes and Glover together as a pair, never distinguishing individual acts. For example, reports say they did not immediately leave. They continued to record and ask questions. But this description lumps both men together, even though the Reyes was the one that was talking. This shows group liability thinking. If one is charged, charge both. Protecting Fahey, cross arrest. If only Reyes had been arrested, the confrontation would appear as Fahey versus one journalist. But by charging both men, police created a narrative of two trespassers harassing a trooper, bolstering Fahey's credibility as the victim. This is a classic cover charge tactic. Arrest everyone on the non-police side to balance the optics. Now, for the bootlickers out there, are these your heroes? Like, I didn't train ChatGPT to do this. Do this yourself. Do it yourself. It's a computer. Misuse of trespass laws. Why he was really charged. To reinforce the case against Reyes, 2-on-1 trespassers look worse than one. To pressure both men equally with bond and criminal process. To discourage future film partnerships. by showing that even the quiet cameraman gets arrested. Ooh. Glover was charged in summary, Glover was charged not because of his own conduct, but because he was with Reyes, he was filming, and police wanted to frame the incident as 2 against 1 trespass on Fahey's home. List all specific details, the reports, details in the report that contradict themselves. They look so bad. Let's see here. Contradictions in the reports. Trespass signage. Sergeant D'Angelo observed private road, dead end, no turnaround signs, and a no trespassing sign laying face up at the edge of the driveway. Sergeant Bedard's sign had fallen from a tree where it was affixed, not clearly posted, about 1 to 2 feet in the overgrown brush. Officer Monsky's sign was clearly visible upon closer inspection, appeared to have fallen recently, not covered by leaves. Officer McKinney, Fahey said his sign was of course it fell, but he didn't know when. Contradiction. Officers disagree on whether the sign was visible, obscured, or posted. Spitting. Reyes said Fahey spit directly in his mouth. Fahey admitted spitting, but claimed it was accidental from foaming at the mouth. Sergeant D'Angelo via video, he observed spitting, but cannot confirm where it landed. Sergeant Bedard didn't observe spitting on Reyes' face or clothes. Contradictions. Reyes, victim says spit in the mouth. Suspect says unintentional. Officers can't corroborate physical evidence. Timeline of retreat. Supplemental video review. Reyes and Glover were still on the lawn 43 seconds after being told to leave, retreated slowly. Fahey's statement, Reyes and Glover were backing up, claiming they were leaving, and they said they were not on his property. Reyes said he complied and was backing away when Fahey followed and spit. Reports differ whether slow retreat equals non-compliance trespass or compliance in progress. Who observed the video? D'Angelo. Purpose of LED truck. Bedard claimed the truck would appear to be intended to incite, alarm, or provoke. Reyes said it was journalism, questioning about Fahey's overtime scandal. Threats of allegations. Initial dispatch reported Reyes threatened to kill Fahey. D'Angelo, no such threat observed on Reyes' video, only yelling about leaving. Fahey's statement said he was not in fear of his life, but for his family. Contradiction of the initial death threat allegation not supported by any witnesses, statements, or video. A firearm display. Officer report integrity. D'Angelo wrote report from memory without the aid of body camera. Romowski states body camera uploaded. Contradiction. Some officers relied on body camera. Others wrote from memory, undermining consistencies. Why this matters. Trespass charge hinges on signage / notice, but accounts conflict. Assault, spitting, credibility battle, contradictory statements. And listen, I want to be clear. I'm not using ChatGPT as my attorney. I have one of the best attorneys in Connecticut that's representing me and my cameraman. This is just for fun. So this is just for fun. I mean, it's somebody straight out of law school can get this one right. Would the same thing happen to a national corporate media journalist? Oh, that's horrible. A national corporate journalist from CNN, Fox, New York Times carries brand power, lawyers, and audience reach. Local officers and prosecutors know charging them on shaky grounds could explode into a national scandal. Reyes and Glover, as independent journalists, lack that protective shield of institutional clout, making them easier targets. Bottom line, independent journalists like Reyes and Glover are more vulnerable to retaliatory arrest because they don't have institutional media backing. They're seen as adversarial to law enforcement, and local officials think they can get away with it without national fallout. A corporate journalist would likely not have been charged at all, or if they were, the charges would have been dropped immediately once media lawyers and national scrutiny got involved. The news making up lies about you. Do you think he was trying? Yeah, but it's just based on the reports. I'm not going to say that. What is the solution? Yeah, that's pretty spot on. And why aren't the big news channels doing stuff like this? Yeah, that's a good question. Why aren't the big news channels covering this story? Institutional bias towards law enforcement. National outlets often rely on police departments as daily sources for crime stories. Bingo! Got them. That is exactly why. Covering misconduct like this risks damaging those relationships. They tend to give more coverage when the story is already validated by multiple lawsuits, indictments, or outside investigations, not just the citizen's words against the trooper. Perception of independent journalists. Corporate media sometimes dismisses First Amendment auditors and independent reporters as activists rather than legitimate press. That framing makes them less likely to elevate stories like yours, even though the Constitution doesn't draw that distinction. Story competition. National channels chase ratings, wars, elections, disasters. A local altercation in Groton, Connecticut between an auditor and a trooper doesn't get the editorial green light unless it's already viral. Gatekeeping and narrative control. If CNN or NBC puts this on air, they'd have to explain why citizen journalists were charged with voyeurism for filming a public official, and that exposes how weak the charges are. If they would invite questions about press freedom and selective prosecution issues, corporate outlets don't always want to highlight because they benefit from being treated as the real press. Law enforcement influence. This involves a state trooper, an agency, a statewide political weight. Local prosecutors and police chiefs notified up the chain of command immediately, showing coordinated response. That kind of institutional pressure can dissuade corporate outlets from touching the story unless there's undeniable outside action. The DOJ, ACLU, federal lawsuit filing. Bottom line, big media isn't covering this because it's easier to ignore independent journalists, maintain cozy ties with the police, and avoid controversy until a lawsuit, viral moment, or outside investigation forces their hand. Interesting. Fourth and fifth side regular officials. So where's the ACLU? When is my next court case? My next court case is my next court date is September 9th. September 9th. September 9th. I've been in and out of this live stream. I have dinner in Atlantic City. Thanks, Leroy. Appreciate you being here. Thanks, Joseph, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. I'm going to read everybody's super chats. This guy who has assaulted me in the past, now his gun is coming at me. I better turn my back on him. Did Groton Police Department, that was from No Way Jose. Did Groton Police Department body camera record this alleged no trespassing sign in the grass falling over in the investigation? No, they did not. Probably not. Did Fahey break policy of conduct on becoming of an officer of spitting on you? I already said yes. Thank you for the gifts. Did memberships? Oh, that's a good question. Ask if Lay Deadly. Ask if the immunity would be viable or granted. Chances of success of private litigation against him. Would qualified immunity in this, what was your exact thing? In this case, be viable or granted? What are the chances of litigation against him? Let's see. This is the right question to be thinking about if you're weighing civil litigation. Qualified immunity framework. It goes into what qualified immunity is. Application. You can read all this. I'm going to get to the point. Likelihood of litigation succeeding. Very strong 1980 against Fahey. Very strong 1983 claims: assault, spitting, excessive force, firearm, retaliation. Qualified immunity unlikely. Ooh, so sad. To shield him because the rights were clearly established. Also open to state law tort claims. Against Groton officers, strong malicious prosecution, First Amendment retaliation claims, Monell liability possibility since the chief and state's attorneys were consulted, bonds increased, decisions escalated up the chain. Against the state of Connecticut, harder because of sovereign immunity, but in Bennett v. Sabo, Connecticut Supreme Court allows direct state constitutional claims. Chances of success, federal 1983 litigation against Fahey personally, high viability. Qualified immunity defense is weak. Against Groton Police Department, strong, especially if you show coordination to protect Fahey. Against state of Connecticut, moderate, depends on the court's willingness to allow a Bennett claim or conspiracy theory under 1985. Qualified immunity isn't strong here. Litigation and Fahey personally viable and strong. It all started after Sandy Hook tragedy. What would the correct response be? What would the correct response have been in this situation by Groton PD? What I got another super chat. Thank you. From Kimpo. Ask if there's PC for brandishing a weapon enhancement. I don't know if you saw that earlier. I talked about that already. It said yeah. It said possibly. Thank you for the super chat though. Security weapons, scene management. All right, let's get to that. Trespass. They should have done a trespass assessment. Conflict of interest. He's a state trooper. Local police are investigating their law enforcement colleague. Immediately notify an outside agency or an inspector general to avoid a conflict. Charging decisions, raising Glover evidence shows no violence, threats, or voyeurism. Fahey admitted to spitting. Professional standards. Sergeant D'Angelo admitted writing a report from memory without reviewing body camera. Correct response. Always review body camera before completing reports. Avoid editorializing. Reyes should have known his actions would have a negative response. That language shows bias. Correct outcome. No arrest. The correct outcome would have been no arrest of Reyes and Glover. Only formal trespass warning issued if appropriate. Evidence secured for both sides. Assault investigation of Fahey referred to a neutral outside agency. Both complainants informed of their right to pursue charges. Scene de-escalated without punishing lawful news gathering. So there you go. Carrying increased. Where's Leroy? How did the police contradict themselves in the reports? I love like the bootlickers who were like, good luck in prison. Like, what? Dude, you're insane. Contradictions in Groton Police with no trespassing sign. We went over this. It's the same thing. Private property, no trespassing sign lying face up at the edge of the driveway. Sergeant Bedard said the sign had fallen from a tree, not clearly posted, stuck in overgrown bush. Officer Romansky claimed the sign was clearly visible on closer inspection, looked like it had just fallen recently. Officer McKinney reported Fahey admitted, of course, it fell and didn't know when. The contradiction is officers can't agree whether notice was visible, obscured, or not posted at all. The spitting incident, the timeline of leaving, the firearm display, one side inside aside. So funny. I did this the day you had this happen. Oh, really? Sounds like they have no facts to fall on. Oh, man. Cat B, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Sean Paul Reyes, you retired Fahey. I'm writing a book. Anybody want to know the title of the book's name? The title of the book's name is going to be Corrupticate. That's the title of the book. Corrupticate. Do the time, thank you for the super chat. Do the body camera footage, do the body cameras record any police talking about finding the no trespassing signs during the event? I really want to know if it was fabricated. I haven't looked at the body camera footage yet, unfortunately. Nobody reads books. Well, I'm going to write one anyway. because I want to add author to the job title. It's going to be not just about this situation. It's going to be about back in 2021 when I was unlawfully arrested by the Waterbury Police Department, the Danbury Police Department. This time, everything in between. It's going to be a whole. I read books. Yeah. Name the book Resist Tyranny. What about Corrupticate? Resist Tyranny, or Resist Tyranny, Corrupticate, or Corrupticate. I don't know. Give me a. I don't know. Let's see if ChatGPT. I want to write a book. A book about this incident. Give me some good titles. I think this is the longest time I've ever been on a live stream, so that's pretty cool. It gave me to spit in silence. How far the police will go to shut down the truth. The auditor versus the trooper. A fight for the First Amendment. Weaponized charges. Retaliation in Groton. Cameras, cuffs, and cover up. And it gave me some other ones that I can't really see. Option number 2, I can't see really. Filming the forbidden, when journalism becomes a crime. Lens of liberty, the arrest and Reyes of Glover. Press on trial, the Groton incident, recording while arrested. Probable cause, the fabricated case against journalist. Law versus the First Amendment, a Groton story. Trespass of justice. Qualified immunity shield for the spitter. The knock at the trooper's door. Spit cameras in the Constitution. Spit cameras in the Constitution. Slow retreat. The day journalism was criminalized. 2 journalists and a gun. Audit under fire. Independent but not free. The battle for the First Amendment. I like that. The people versus the thin blue line. Ooh, I like that too. Voices they tried to silence. People still buy them if they don't read. Thank you for the super chat, Joseph. It took a strong presence of mind not to wipe the spit off your face. Faye could have said you were reaching for him and shot you. His Napoleon complex was in overdrive. Definitely was, Matt. Joseph. Thanks, Joseph. Tommy, welcome to the Long Island Audit membership, the We the People membership. Thank you so much. Wendy, thank you so much. Appreciate you. 20 years ago. Yeah, that also the book's gonna have that 20 years ago he would have killed me with my teeth missing and all that. Connecticut foster system is flooded. The courts are, thank you, Joey the Gent, for $5. The courts are broken. The trial docket is 3 years out. Maybe this all results in giving some back. Keep grinding. Yeah, man, I would love to. I'm definitely gonna. I mean, how much should Reyes sue for? A total amount for all claims. Let's see. How much? How much should I sue for? Let's see. I want all of it, not just everything. Bottom line recommendation. Reyes should sue for $10 million total, all claims combined, knowing a realistic settlement / trial value is $2 to $7 million, depending on jury reception, video evidence, and punitive damages against Fahey. What? I don't think that. I mean, it says 10 million is a big round number. That seems like a lot. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Should I put 10 million in the lawsuit? 10 million? I don't know. I don't know. That seems crazy. Wheel of Life Cycling. I told you 10 million. You did? That's crazy. You did? I don't remember. Don't settle for less than 10 million, Kelly. What? Really? 100 million? Wow. 20 years ago, this book wouldn't have been sold. That sounds like a good title. 15 million? 25 and so you guys really think I'm gonna get millions? If I do, we're definitely gonna give back to those. We're gonna work something out with the foster care system. I would love to do that. I would love to. That would be great. Something nice for the Connecticut people. Maybe a billboard. Not a billboard truck, but billboard. 30 million? You won't get a dime, bro. That's probably what's going to happen. I'm telling you from a legal span. What are you telling me, Jack? From a legal standpoint, what? 12 million, then it goes down to 10 million. There's no way that there's no way 10 million. 10 million would be crazy. I feel like that's crazy. I mean, personally, I feel like that's crazy. 10 million? I don't know. He spit in your face. Carissa, 10 million sounds right. 10 million is good. Wow. Showing the lawyers for all the agencies will rack up charges to the tune of 2 million alone. Sue for 30 million. I'll tell you what, I don't expect to get 10 million or any kind of million in there, but if I do, we're gonna do a big live stream where we give back to the people. I can't wait. 500 grand and beat it is in the beat. 10 million overtime they paid to everyone. Start at 50 million, let them negotiate down to 10. Oh man, you guys are funny. 10 seems legit. Really? I wish you guys were part of my jury. That'd be awesome. I wish we need a trilogy with Phil, Lou, and Fahey. Get millions for this so you can start your own corporate media. Yeah, maybe. And then we hire journalists, like independent journalists that work for us and the whole network. That'd be cool. Get millions for this so you can start your own corporate media. 500 mil, 100 mil. Wendy K, thank you so much. Glover will get 5 million and still want to be what? Glover will get what? What? Glover will be full and still want to be your full-time cameraman. I don't know. Glover is in therapy right now, man. He's not doing too well. He's not. He has never seen this kind of stuff before. I mean, Sapp is going for 20 million. Warren Sapp. Long Island Audit 10 million is not a lot when it's two people across two departments and an individual. Yeah, but it says Reyes. It says Reyes should sue for 10 million total. Doesn't even say Glover. Should I ask what about Glover? Maybe it's wow, that's horrible. Let's see here. So the key difference is that obviously I got spit on. It says Glover should sue for 5 million. My camera guy should sue for 5 million. Feel bad for your cameraman. Hope he's able to recover fully. Thanks for taking care of him. I am definitely taking care of him. I owe him everything. He did his job. He held the camera and he didn't run away and he held it right. He did what he was supposed to do. Put internal affairs into the chat. Put the internal affairs into the chat GPT. Oh, the internal affairs report. You want me to put it? I mean, all right, whatever. Well, let's just do it. Let's do it. Now, that's a good idea, actually. Let's see. Put the internal affairs. Stay tuned, everyone. We have 3,000 people still watching. See, no one's going to watch this whole live stream, but it's fine. The real ones will. The real 3,000 of you will. It's fine. Let's find the IA report. It's not on this computer, so I have to find it on my phone. Let's see. Just give me a second, guys. Hold on. Hold on. Is this it? No, that's not it. That's the other one. Oh, I got it. I got it, guys. Hold on. Sorry, stay with me. Mm, only if you want to. Um. All right. New member. Thank you for being a member. Appreciate all my members. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Yeah, no. Ryan Fahey is not arrested as of yet. Let's see here. Somebody wants me to put the internal affairs report into ChatGPT. Again, I have lawyers, but I thought this was interesting just to see the perspective here. Let me add file. Okay. Now, what is now carefully and meticulously analyze the attached IA report about the incident from the state police. Give me your thoughts overall, objectively. Oh, that was horrible. Thinking longer for a better response. We love Glover. Glover's great. Glover deserves 30 million. I think Glover deserves everything too. They're trying to make it seem like you removed the sign. I know, right? I don't know what's happening with the keyboard. I don't know. What are the odds Fahey's watching right now? Probably good odds. Here's a neutral close read. Sustained policy violation, conduct unbecoming of Fahey. IA frames the firearm handling as low ready. IA emphasizes context. IA asserts the property was clearly posted with no trespassing signs, citing that both Fahey and his wife on separate 911 calls said so. It also states Mr. Reyes' video appears edited to omit portions where the sign would have been seen. But I really wanted to compare. Yeah, but I wanted it to compare IA reports to arrest reports. Whoa, Billy, the kidster. Thank you so much for the $100 super chat, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right, it says it compared it. The spitting. The arrest reports, Groton Police Department. Fahey admitted spitting. Reyes said spit went in his mouth. An officer saw no residue, only sweat. IA report confirms video posting. Video shows spitting, cited Reyes' reaction, and notes Fahey's eventually admitted to it after reviewing the footage. Both agree it happened, but IA formally sustains it as a policy violation. Arrest reports treated it as contested evidence, not criminal conduct by Fahey. Firearm display. Arrest reports. Officers saw a video of Fahey holding a gun at his side or behind his leg while advancing chest to chest. IA report frames gun handling as low ready position, justified by Fahey's gym shorts, no holster, declares this consistent with his training. Arrest reports leave firearm conduct ambiguous. IA effectively excuses it. Trespass signage. Arrest reports contradictory. One officer says sign lying face up in the brush. Another says it was not clearly posted. Another says it was clearly visible once noticed. IA report states Signage was clearly posted, relying on 911 calls by Fahey and his wife, plus a police department review. The same police department who said it wasn't clearly posted also claims Rhea's video was edited to omit the signs. IA takes the strongest pro-Fahey view, treating signage as established fact. Arrest reports documented mixed observations. Arrest reports initial dispatch mentioned a death threat, but no officer or video corroborated this. Fahey later said he wasn't in fear for his life, only his family. IA report focuses instead on a broader history of online threats against Fahey, citing union-provided messages and harassment evidence. Arrest reports weaken the threat claim. IA pivots to outside threats not tied to Rares or Glover that day. Charges. Arrest reports state attorney advised charges: trespass, breach of the peace, voyeurism with malice. Reyes and Glover were arrested and bonded. IA reports notes that those arrests were sustained, criminalizing Glover's. Arrest reports were written by officers who openly editorialized, telling Reyes he should have known his actions would have a negative response. IA report leans heavily on Fahey's context, prior threats. Agreement. They're both on overall comparison between the IA report and the arrest reports. Both sets acknowledge spitting, firearm presence, retreat down the driveway, and Reyes and Glover filming. The divergence are the signage. Arrest reports are inconsistent. IA declares signage clearly posted. Firearm. Arrest reports no threatening posture. IA reframes as justified, low, ready. Threats. Arrest reports undermine death threat narrative. IA shifts to outside harassment. Accountability. Arrest reports build probable cause to arrest Reyes. IA sustains only spitting against Reyes. Objective takeaway: the arrest reports justify charging Reyes and Glover, while the IA report minimizes Fahey's actions, except spitting, and emphasizes external threats. But put together, they reveal a double standard: citizens' conduct treated as criminal, troopers' conduct treated as administrative. Okay, so there you go. What blows my mind is that this is so blatant, yet they still seem to be getting away with it. Why isn't everybody held accountable, including the officers of the law that lied? That's the scary part about where our country is right now. They are getting away with it. They are. What scared you more, Fahey or the black bear? That's an easy answer. The black bear. Sign the petition. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate it. What are the similarities between Connecticut law enforcement and the Empire from Star Wars? Law enforcement and the Empire from Star Wars. That's a powerful comparison. All right, number one, centralized power. These are the similarities between the Connecticut state, the Connecticut law enforcement agencies as a whole, and the Empire from Star Wars. Centralized power and control. Empire, all authority flows from the emperor and his commanders. Local governors enforce imperial rule. Connecticut law enforcement chain of command runs from troopers up to the supervisors, colonels, and state's attorneys. Both systems concentrate power in the institution itself, not in neutral oversight, protecting their own. Number two, the Empire stormtroopers cover up or justify actions of high-ranking officers, even atrocities, as necessary for order. Connecticut law enforcement, IA minimizes Fahey's firearm conduct, reframe trespass signs as clearly posted despite conflicting evidence, and sustained only the least serious violation. Both show institutional loyalty over truth, retaliation against dissent, propaganda, narrative control, weaponizing fear. The bottom line: both the Empire and the Connecticut state law enforcement, as reflected in these reports, operate on centralized authority, loyalty to insiders over justice, retaliation against critics, narrative control, fear as a tool of legitimacy. Interesting. Thanks, Wendy. Appreciate you. Just signed the petition. Appreciate it. We're over, I think, 50 or 60,000 signatures. Pyrex PGH, Sergeant Brian Psycho Fahey. Thanks for the 989 super chat. Appreciate it. I've been on vacation the last 2 weeks, guys, so I'm just getting back into it. John Lang Audit the Audit just released a 2024 delayed body camera activation about a man who was arrested for spitting and was attacked by the cops. Video is cops get sued after attacking disabled man. I'll take a look at it. He should be charged with 11 charges. I was a goddamn Connecticut state trooper until those meddling independent journalists exposed my tyranny. Thanks to cowardly Trooper Fahey. Thanks for being a member. Luke, you are my father. Keep your tourism dollars out of Connecticut. Unfortunately, I have to keep going to Connecticut. What historical figure? What was that again? What historical figure most closely resembles Fahey? Fahey, his status and conduct. Let's see. Bull Connor. Number one is Bull Connor, Birmingham Police Commissioner, 1960s. Used police force, dogs, horses, hoses, arrest against peaceful protesters and reporters. Framed dissent as unlawful provocation. Protected by the system for years until national spotlight exposed him. Like Fahey, Connor turned legitimate speech and assembly into criminal conduct and leaned on institutional loyalty. Number two, Sheriff Jim Clark, Selma, Alabama, 1965. Wore his badge and weapon like a personal shield. Infamously beat and arrested peaceful demonstrators, insisted they were trespassers or agitators, believed he was defending the law and order while actually violating rights. Similar to Fahey's mindset, property plus authority is greater than constitutional rights. Number three, Captain William Cayley, My Lai Massacre, Vietnam. Different scale, but similar pattern. Claimed fear for his men and family. Took extreme action, later minimized by chain of command. Only lightly punished compared to the harm inflicted. Like Fahey, responsibility downplayed by the system protecting him. Number four, colonial era redcoat officers, pre-revolution. Used force, intimidation, and laws like unlawful assembly to silence pamphleters and citizen critics. Claim civilians provoked them, even when the evidence showed otherwise. Strong residents, citizen journalists, pamphleters, then auditors now, framed as lawbreakers. Closest fit, Bull Connor is probably the most accurate. Both were entrenched in authority figures. Both overreacted against peaceful critics. Both had institutions that excused or protected their conduct. Both symbolized the abuse of state power against civil liberties. LOL, red coat. He's a red coat. He is a red coat. I know he's probably watching. Sean Paul, let your lawyers take it to the courts. He'll play someday. Smash that like button. Thank you, Jenny. Sean, consider doing more of these. We want to help you in any way we can to ensure accountability and allow all of us to grow as a society. God knows the government and law enforcement won't help getting it done. I will definitely, Lynn Duffy, thank you. I'll definitely consider it. I mean, it's a long live stream. We still have 2,800 people in here. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Please be safe. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate you. Fahey is a monster. Fahey, the Connecticut State Redcoat. 7 notifications. The government has lost a few years for Sean to get paid yet. The government has to last a few more years for Sean to get paid. Whoa, Billy the Kidster. Dude, I appreciate that, man. Not necessary, but I really appreciate that. $400 super chat, man. That's really cool of you. Thank you, Billy the Kid. Very, very cool, man. Thank you so much. Read the comments. I'm trying. There's a lot. Thanks for all your support. Sorry about what happened, Sean. Thank you. Sean, did you know Suffolk County Police Department doesn't release 911 calls for 5 years? What? That's insane. I'll nominate you for a Pulitzer Prize award. I should get one for this. Richard, ask ChatGPT, if I were raised, what could I have done differently while still preserving my rights? We don't want to give the Fahey's of the world something that maybe I'll do that. That's a good thing to do in private, but we don't want to give the Fahey's of the world any ammunition whatsoever. My next day in court is September 9th. Sean liars, when are you ever going to stop lying? What am I lying about? I don't get it. They're the liars. Paul Narducci, what? Watching from where are you guys watching from? Paul Narducci is a police officer, standards and training. Do you think he recused himself so he could prepare all the officers for the upcoming depositions and trial? Maybe. Maybe he did. I want to know why. So, what's your take on this situation as a whole, given the police reports and IA report? Like, what is the overall takeaway here today? And then we'll be getting out of here. Almost 2 hours. Hit the like button if you're still here and you didn't. God's got you, Sean. Yes, sir. Here's my neutral big picture takeaway. Competing narratives. They frame Reyes and Glover as trespassers, slow to leave, provocative, and therefore subject to arrest for trespass, breach of the peace, and voyeurism. Core contradictions. Let's see here. What this shows: double standards. Citizens Reyes and Glover treated as criminals, arrested, overcharged, even with a baseless voyeurism count. Trooper Fahey treated as a stressed victim, internally sanctioned only for spitting. Institutional loyalty. Groton PD escalated quickly up the chain of command, consulted the state's attorney, and arrested Reyes and Glover. Connecticut State Police IA contextualized Fahey's conduct as an understandable under pressure, not as a serious use of force violation. First Amendment blind spot. Both sets of reports treat filming and questioning a public official as provocation, but not protected journalism. That framing flips constitutional principles on their head. The objective takeaway: this incident, as documented, looks less like a neutral application of law and more like a protective institutional response. Arrest reports were written to justify detaining the journalist and shield Fahey from immediate criminal liability. The IA report was written to acknowledge just enough the spitting to appear credible while minimizing the more serious misconduct, armed confrontation, retaliation against the press. Legal policy implications. Reyes and Glover, strong basis for civil rights claims, false arrest, malicious prosecution, First Amendment retaliation, excessive force in Reyes' case. For Fahey, a sustained IA finding of conduct unbecoming confirms wrongdoing, but the narrow scope shows how agencies discipline internally rather than hold officers criminally accountable. For the system, demonstrates how qualified immunity, institutional loyalty, and narrative control can combine to criminalize critics while insulating insiders. In plain terms, this wasn't objective justice. It was damage control, criminalizing the journalists, minimizing the troopers' conduct, and keeping the system intact. Preach. Sheesh. Well, I was gonna do something else too. I was going to. Oh, why would people online in comment sections of the videos posted and videos of the IA reports and arrest reports side with Fahey and the cops objectively. I'm going to try and get into the mind of the bootlickers. Number one, cultural defense. Hold on, I got another super chat. This is fun content. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Misfit. Misfit picture. Thanks, Misfit. Thank you. Unrelated, has the chat learned about Robert Jordan? Member for 3 months. Thanks for our opinion. Versus New London case. Mr. Jordan scored high on IQ test and got denied. They don't want smart pigs. All right. So I asked the question if you're just joining. Like why do people take seeing all of this video evidence, the actual video, the police reports, the contradictions, the lies, the IA report, the lies, just all in front of your face, you still believe you still want to support Fahey and the state police. And this is what they told me. One, cultural deference to police. In the United States, many people are raised to view police as default authority and protectors. When a conflict arises, they instinctively assume the officer's version is more credible than the civilian's, especially when the civilian is a critic or adversary. Two, property rights framing. Reports emphasize that Reyes and Glover were on Fahey's private property. To many, that overrides anything else, everything else. You were told to leave, you didn't leave fast enough, so you're in the wrong. They don't parse nuances. I've always said the death of nuance in this country is what's making this country fall apart. The death of nuance. I've always said that. They don't parse nuances about trespass law, signage, visibility, or First Amendment access. They just see property equals stay off. Framing the provocation. Officers wrote Reyes should have known his actions would solicit a negative response. IA emphasized prior threats against Fahey. This framing portrays Reyes and Glover not as journalists, but as agitators, deliberately provoked a cop at home. Many online readers accept the framing and see Fahey's conduct as understandable. Fear and family context. IA leaned heavily on Fahey's wife and daughter being present, his claims of hundreds of threats, and his retirement approaching. For the public, family in danger is powerful justification. People empathize with a family/husband defending his home. Misunderstanding press freedom. Some people don't accept independent auditors and YouTubers as real journalists. They equate them with antagonists, not reporters, so they don't see this as a press freedom issue. To them, it's just a random guy with a camera harassing a cop at his house. Partisan/tribal reaction. Policing has become politically polarized. For people aligned with, quote, law and order politics, siding with Fahey equals siding with their worldview. They interpret criticism of police as anti-American rather than accountability work. The objective bottom line. Even with the same evidence, online audience bring bias and instinct. Respect for police authority, property rights, absolutism, sympathy for family fear, suspicion of independent journalists, political identity. That cocktail makes many default to the auditors push too far. Fahey just defended his family. Would you like me to show you how to counter each of these arguments? But how do they believe the police report and IA report when there is video evidence of their lies? That's the heart of it, and it's frustrating but very explainable. Even when the video evidence undermines the police narrative, many people will still believe the reports and IA. Here's why. Objectively. Authority bias. Police and IA reports look official. Uniform seals, legal codes, formal language. Many people trust an official document over their own eyes, especially if they don't know the law. They assume if it's written in a police report, it must be true. Confirmation bias. If someone already thinks auditors are agitators or cops just do their jobs, they'll interpret the video through that lens. When Reyes is speaking loudly, they'll see it as aggressive, not as protected speech. When Fahey spits, they'll rationalize it as the heat of the moment because the reports give them permission to. Narrative framing. Reports give ready-made storyline. Reyes and Glover equals trespassers. Fahey equals a husband and father defending family. Video without narration requires viewers to interpret what they see. The official report supplies the quote script, so viewers filter the footage to match it. Institutional legitimacy. IA adds weight. Investigated by internal affairs sounds impartial to the average person, even if IA is slanted. Excusing the firearm, over relying on 911 calls about signs. People assume if IA said it, then that must be objective. Psychological discomfort. Accepting the police lied in writing in an official investigation is disturbing. Many people resolve that discomfort by believing the reports and discounting the video. It's easier to believe that the system works than to accept that it's corrupt. Video literacy gap. Not everyone knows how to evaluate body camera, phone footage, or editing claims. IA accused Reyes of uploading an edited video. To the average viewer, that seeds doubt. Maybe the video isn't showing the whole truth. Objective bottom line. People believe police and IA reports over video because authority bias, trusting the badge/seal, confirmation bias, fitting facts to fit their worldview, narrative framing, reports provide a script, institutional legitimacy, IA investigation sounds neutral, psychological comfort, denial of corruption, doubt about video completeness. In other words, reports tell them what to think. Video forces them to think for themselves, and many will default to the report. Crazy. ChatGPT is saying everyone is conditioned moron. Oh, man. How can I change these people's minds? Let's see. How can we help the sheep out there and the bootlickers? This is the hardest part, but also the most powerful opportunity. One, acknowledge their instincts first. People want to feel safe siding with authority. If you attack that instinct head on, the cops are liars, they dig in. Instead, start with common ground. I understand why people trust a police report. I used to as well, but let's look at the evidence together. This disarms defensiveness. Make the video and report speak side by side. Don't just show the video and say the report is lying. Put them in a split screen over a text overlay. Report says sign was clearly posted. Video shows sign on the ground hidden in brush. When contradictions are visual and direct, people can't rationalize them away. Use relatable analogies. Complex constitutional arguments can feel abstract. Translate it. If you rang your neighbor's doorbell and he came out spitting in your face with a gun in his hand, would you be a trespasser or the victim? Everyday framing helps people see it through their own lives, not partisan lenses. Shift the narrative from auditor versus cop to citizen versus state power. Some dismiss auditors as agitators. Reframe it. This isn't about me. This is about what can happen to anyone who asks questions or records the government. If they could charge me with voyeurism for holding a camera, what stops them from charging you? Now it's their rights, not just yours. Show the double standard. People hate hypocrisy. Line it up. Reyes and Glover arrested, cuffed, charged with voyeurism. Fahey spits, brandishes a gun, but IA calls it low ready and just conduct unbecoming. Ask, is that equal justice? When shown this way, even police reports see unfairness. Even police supporters see unfairness. I'm not sure about that. Tell a human story. Raw facts matters, but emotions move people. Talk about the humiliation of being falsely branded a sex criminal, the fear of spit in your mouth during COVID, the stress of your family. Make it personal and relatable so viewers feel it, not just analyze it. Leverage trusted messengers. Some will never believe an auditor. They might listen to lawyers, retired police chiefs, critical of misconduct, civil liberties groups. Partner with them. I've partnered with cops, active duty cops, former cops, lawyers, former prosecutors. I've done it all. I don't know what else you people want. Not all of you, obviously, just the brain dead people. Patience and repetition. All right, I got to learn patience. It's all right. I'm not going to call you bootlickers anymore. I'm not going to call you sheep. I'm going to hold your hand one step at a time. We're going to get through this together. Now, objectively, are auditors, specifically Sean Paul Reyes, a journalist? All right. First Amendment, the Constitution doesn't create a special class of journalists. Everyone has the right to gather information and publish it. Courts, Glick v. Cunha, Fields and City versus Philadelphia, recognize recording public officials protected journalistic activity, even for private citizens. By this standard, yes, Reyes qualifies as a journalist, and he records, investigates, and publishes. Journalism equals gathering information of public interest and disseminating it to the public. Reyes records government officials, investigates misconduct, and publishes his findings to his audience of millions on YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms. He is performing the function of journalism. Traditional outlets, New York Times, CNN, will sometimes define journalists as someone employed by a newsroom with editorial oversight. By that narrow definition, Reyes is not a corporate journalist, but that doesn't negate his constitutional rights. Independent journalists, bloggers, YouTubers, freelancers are widely recognized as part of a press ecosystem today. Precedent recognition. Federal courts have affirmed that independent journalists freelancers are entitled to press protections. Many civil rights lawsuits by First Amendment auditors proceed under this recognition. Reyes' audience size, millions of subscribers, widespread viewership, only reinforces his public role. Objective conclusion. Constitutionally, Reyes is a journalist because he gathers information on government activity and publishes it. Functionally, he performs investigative and reporting work. Institutionally, he is not part of a legacy press, but that distinction has no legal bearing on the First Amendment protection. The answer, yes, Jean-Paul Reyes is an objectively a journalist, even if not in the traditional newsroom sense. He is an independent journalist protected by the same First Amendment rights as corporate media. Wow, 2 hours? All right. Billy the Kid gifted 10 Long Island Audit memberships. Thank you, Billy the Kid. Thank you, man. You've been great. Appreciate you. I appreciate the support. ChatGPT risen up Sean with the inflated subs. I know that is. Well, hold on. Hold on. It's not inflated subs. I have 975,000 here on YouTube. I have 500,000 followers on TikTok. I have 500,000 followers or 400,000 followers on Facebook. Another 250,000 followers on Instagram. So that's millions, right? I mean, Mr. P, great question. What was the great question? Let's see here. All right. I'm going to be getting out of here, guys. If you guys watch till the end of this, if you watch from minute 1 till the end, I love you. Thank you so much. I don't know if I would watch this video back for 2 hours straight, but you did, and I appreciate it. Billy the Kid, thank you so much for all of your super chats and your support. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for the super chats and support. Thank you for all my channel members. Carissa, thank you. KT, thank you for the Jenny, all my mods, Tommy V. I know you were in here earlier. All my mods, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Jacob Smith here from minute 1, from day 1. Thank you, man. Showing how many college kids are editing for you, no one. It's been a long day. Just got back from vacation. I appreciate all your support. Just wanted to bring these reports to you guys. And I thought it was interesting to include ChatGPT in there and work on it together, you know? If you still blindly support the police, I will pray for you. I will hopefully things get better for you. And yeah, tired. Time for me to go to bed. Tomorrow's another day. Got some more investigating to do in Connecticut. If I repost this video, like a very shorter version of this video without the ChatGPT stuff that we did live together, forgive me. Watch it again. Hit the like button. Wait till you see what I got coming from the. Wait till you see what I got coming for the mayor of Groton, Rachel Franco. Wait till you see what I got coming towards her. But anyways, guys, I am always going to keep working, keep striving for accountability and transparency in government. And I can't do it without all your support. So I appreciate it. Leave a comment below, like button, share, all the good stuff. Subscribe. We're almost at 1 million subscribers here on YouTube. So that's really cool. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next one. Long Island Audit. Peace.